What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to another Skylanders video. Alright everyone, today I'm super excited because today we're going to talk about the Gold Dungeon. We're going to talk about what Skylanders are good for the Gold Dungeon, why they're good for the Gold Dungeon. Basically, we're just going to do a full review, a full guide on the Gold Dungeon, what Skylanders you guys should be potentially building for it. So before we actually get into the Gold Dungeon itself, we're going to go over the Skylanders first, and I'm going to explain to you why you want to use certain Skylanders over other ones. So let's get right into it here. Super excited about this update now. I've been getting a lot of feedback on the update. Most of it is positive, but some people are still like, oh, it's not good enough. The gold is still terrible. But guys, I can promise you, gold is not the problem. The problem is the rune upgrade system on 5 and 6 star runes. Basically, once you get the 6-star runes, you will really start having a problem with gold. And it's not because of gold, it is because of the upgrade system. I promise you guys that. And the same thing with the transcendent stones. It is the same problem because they are so expensive to combine, and it costs a ridiculous amount of gold to actually combine them. To make them from blue to purple or purple to gold, it just costs way too much. So that is the biggest issue that I can see in this game right now. And that's kind of why people are like, gold is a big problem. And I promise you, if you just farm the gold, it is really not that bad, especially if you're only using 5-star gear and you stay away from the 6-star gear and you stay away from the whale shop. Basically, don't use the transcendings, just use the ones you get, and only upgrade blue to purple, and gold shouldn't be as bad for you. I know that was off topic here, but I just want to kind of address the comments, and I love you guys, and I love when you guys leave comments. I love your feedback. So I just wanted to say that really quick so you guys can understand that it's not the gold, it is the actual upgrade system, and the cost of some things in this game are unbelievable, and that's what makes you think it is the gold. But just like any other gacha, Skylanders is a very, very grindy gacha. This game is designed to make you grind 24/7, and that's why sometimes the gold can feel like you're grinding it 24/7, but it's honestly supposed to be that way. And every single gacha game is like this. Early on, when you start playing any gacha, basically like Raid Shadow Legends, Summoning War, the currency is few and far between. But as you get through the game and you start farming later content, later, farming stages, I promise you the gold will stack up, or the currency will stack up. And before you know it, you'll be sitting on 30, 40 million gold. I promise you that. But until they fix the actual upgrade system and some of the cost on some of these resources, we are still going to see this problem. It doesn't matter how much gold they add to the game. Even if they bring back the old gold event and pair it with this gold event, it's still going to be an issue because, again, the upgrade system is still going to be there and it's still going to be the same. So no matter how much gold they give us to farm, you're still going to feel like you're farming 24/7, and it's still going to be a mainline issue. All right, enough with the ranting. Let's get into this one here. So now, when you're actually farming the gold dungeon, and you can farm the gold dungeon 24/7. The only thing is you can only stack 2 tickets at a time, plus your free ticket daily. So that means you can stack 3 tickets a day. So you can stack 2, plus the one they give you for free every single day. So that means you can have 3. But basically, every time you stack 2, you want to make sure you use it so this way you're not overflowing your gold and potentially wasting it on your next tickets. So what you're looking for when you're farming the gold dungeon is endurance down. That is the most important thing. The more knockdowns you do on the gold boss, the more gold you will receive at the end of the battle. So what I mean by that is something like Stealth Elf. I know a lot of you guys have her built. She is actually really good for this. I know you wouldn't think that, but she does have a skill here, which is 3 endurance down, and this is her A1. She also brings an evasion rate down and a poison and a knockdown. So now something like a Stealth Elf would be great because she does good damage. You could stack DPS stats on her, and she's going to bring a 3 endurance down to the table. Something like a Tide Pool, which I'm building now, and I'm not just building Tide Pool for the gold dungeon. I'm building Tide Pool because she's just an all-around amazing Skylander. I feel like she was so underrated at the beginning, and people are finally starting to see how good Tide Pool actually is. Do not sleep on your Tide Pool. She is so good in the gold dungeon, but she is so good all over the game. I feel like she was so underrated, and this is why I'm not a big fan of early game tier lists, or even just tier lists in general. I don't have anything against them, but sometimes people don't realize that tier lists are based off of someone's opinion that played the game. So they might not have a Tide Pool built, and they might just look at her skills and be like, oh, she's garbage, and then place her bad on the tier list or give her a bad overall score on the tier list and not like individually rate her, in certain content. And then the Skylander will just get a bad rep, and everybody's like, oh, that Skylander's garbage because on this tier list it says so. So a lot of the times I like to kind of stay away from tier lists and actually test out these Skylanders in action so we can really get a good feel on how these Skylanders are going to be. And I can promise you Tide Pool is a monster, the hardest hitting Skylander in the game to date. So let's pull her up here because I don't have her maxed. Now again, for the gold dungeon, you were looking for endurance down. That is the most important thing. I will bury that in here. And again, I'm not going to go over every single Skylander. I'm going to give you guys like 4 options. Then you guys can kind of look through your box, see what you have, look at the endurance down, and see what will work good in your team synergy. So we got the A1 here, which is 3 endurance down. That is beautiful. We got the A2, only 1, but she can proc another turn, so that's okay. And then we got the A3, which is 2 endurance down. But the fact that her A1 is only a 2-turn cooldown with a 3 endurance down makes her so strong, and she brings so much DPS to the table. She is going to rake in that damage for you because her DPS multipliers are amazing, and she is just going to be slaughtering any enemy that she goes against, let me tell you. That is why she is my next build, even over Amber. And that is telling you guys something if I'm building Tidepool over Amber. Next up here, we have Sharpshooter. He is down here. So again, I don't have him maxed. He's something I'm going to build in the future because, again, a really good Skylander all around for all content. So we have the A1, 3 endurance down once again, diminished knockdown, evasion rate down. Beautiful, exactly what we're looking for. A2 is only 1, but we're mostly looking for 1 skill that has a low mana cost like this is only 2, and it has a 3 endurance down because paired with like your Tidepool, which has a 2-turn cooldown, you can basically pair them up and have the boss knock down every single turn if you build the right team. Next up here is Airstrike. There he is. And again, I will be maxing him out as well. It's just I have so many projects right now that I want to work on, so I'm kind of just taking it slow and just really picking and choosing what I want to build. Because my team now literally clears all the content, so I'm in no rush to be like building these Skylanders, except for like Skylander guides. But other than that, there's no reason for me to really rush here. So we have the A1, once again, 3 endurance down. So after this, there's really no more reason for me to show you guys any more Skylanders. You're looking for that A1 that has the 3 endurance down. Now, this is a 2-turn cooldown once again. So fantastic. And that is basically what you guys are looking for. You are looking for those 2-turn cooldowns with that 3 endurance down. And I promise you, you will wreck the gold dungeon. That is what it is all about. So let's get into some runs here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And there's just so many more Skylanders in the index, guys, that has these high endurance downs. You just got to look and see what you got and see what you want to use. That was just an example for you guys so you guys can understand what you're actually looking for. So if you have Airstrike, he's great. Just throw him in there. Now I am using Pit Boss. Honestly, I think I'm going to take Pit Boss out for this video just to show you guys that you do not need a healer for the gold dungeon. It is not necessary. They limit you to 12 turns. And I can guarantee you, if you're using George or the new Portal Master Oscar, you will not need another support on your team. You're basically just trying to do as much damage and take away as much endurance as possible. That is your goal for the gold dungeon. So we can actually get rid of Pit Boss here, no problem. And we can add in Stealth Elf because that's what I have built right now. Eventually, I'm going to put Tidepool in there. But for this video, I'm going to throw Stealth Elf in there because she is also a really good choice. And a lot of you guys are going to have her built, and she does have a 3 endurance down on her A1. So there's no reason not to use your Stealth Elf if you don't have any other options built at the moment. So now we have Flare Wolf. And again, he has 4 endurance down. So Flare Wolf, I should have went over him, but I knew I was going to go over him for this actual run. Flare Wolf, probably one of the best Skylanders for the gold dungeon. Yes, it is a 4-turn cooldown, but it is a 4-turn endurance down. And Flare Wolf hits like an absolute truck. This guy is going to rake in the damage. He does the highest damage for me in substigation right now. This man one-shots everything in PvP. Flare Wolf has to be like my favorite Skylander at the moment. We'll have to see when I get Tidepool up and ready which one I like more. But Flare Wolf, an absolute beast. If you haven't built him, build him. He is so great. And he has a 2 endurance down on his A1. An absolute truck, this man, let me tell you guys. And again, we went over Stealth Elf, so you guys know that. And then we have Stink Bomb in the last slot. We have 2 endurance down on A1, not bad. And then we have 3 endurance down once again on the A2. And for me, I don't want to say I'm lucky because I really picked the Skylanders that I wanted to build early on. And that's the best advice I give to all you guys. When you're building your first team, really pay attention to what you're building. Because endurance down is one of the most important things in this game. It's just like attack bar reduction in any other game. So you really got to pay attention to the endurance down. And that's why my main team is able to do so well in this gold dungeon. So I was able to just get right into this gold dungeon and basically wreck it. Because I'm averaging 4 to 5 knockdowns on auto. I see most people are getting 6 on manual. So the fact that I could do that on auto, I'm very, very happy with it. So let's stop with all this talk here and let's actually get a run on. I just like to explain things to you guys and make things clear for you guys. I know a lot of you guys enjoy the content, so thank you guys for watching my content and enjoying it. And that's why I really do enjoy sitting here and going over this stuff with you guys, because I know 90% of you, it absolutely helps you. So it is my pleasure to do it for you. I'm going to leave it on auto because you know me. I'm lazy gamer. I don't want to manual anything. I just want to go in there, press auto, and walk away. I don't want to be bothered with having to sit here and actually, play it. I have to play enough PvP matches during the day that I don't want to be bothered with doing PvE content. That is just my opinion on it. But if you watch here, the team is really good. And if you look up here on the right-hand side, there's only 7 runs left. So you absolutely blow through these runs. That's the thing here. There's only 12 runs, I believe it starts with. So with that cap being on this gold dungeon, you absolutely do not need a healer. You basically want to go for either debuff damage, which probably isn't the best, but I have debuff damage and it does pretty well. But if you can get that raw DPS damage with that endurance down, you'd probably be better off. But if you only have a poison team built like me, it is fine. Just get as much poison, as much diminishes up as you can, and basically just keep knocking her down as much as you can. And I could promise you, if I was mailing this, I would probably have like 3 or 4 knockdowns at this point. We should be able to get one more. Earlier today, I actually got 5 knockdowns, so I guess it's going to be based off of RNG at this point as far as auto goes. And it's the same thing with substigation. When I manual, I get like 650, 700. When I auto, I'm getting like 500, 500,000. So it just shows you auto sometimes can really mess you up. But it's a risk you take when you don't want to sit here and manual. And it's a risk that I am willing to take because I don't want to sit here and manual any more content in this game. I am totally satisfied with my Sky Tower and my arena or my daily arena attacks every single day. I don't want to basically manual anything else. But like you can see, we still have 4 knockdowns. We have 1 turn left, basically 2 turns left. So we should be able to get 1 more knockdown here, which is going to be 5 knockdowns total. And for me, I'm totally happy with that. Again, farming gold is going to go hand in hand here now because you're going to farm adventures, which is going to give you gold dungeon tickets. Then you're going to take those tickets and come here. So it's basically just like getting extra gold. These runs are pretty fast, as you can see. What did it take? About 2 minutes, 1.5 to 2 minutes. And let's see the results here. So we got 90k gold here, and then we got 5 knockdowns. So we got almost 75k. So if we add that up, it's about 160, 170,000. Not too bad. Now I know people out there are getting 250, 225, but again, I'm doing this on auto, and my team is not perfect for the gold dungeon. It's okay. I'm happy with it personally. I know it can be better. I could be putting out more raw DPS. So basically, I could be rerouting my Skylanders for just raw DPS damage instead of the debuff damage, and then I'll probably be getting higher numbers because I'll be doing more damage to the actual boss. But for me, I'm totally okay with it. Let's run the last one here. And honestly, this team is actually better than I thought it was going to be. When the gold dungeon first came out, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to build a bunch of Skylanders just for the gold dungeon, which I really didn't want to do because for the new episode, we actually have to build a bunch of premiums. And then on top of building all my legendaries that I want to build, it would have just been a nightmare to have to build a different team for the gold dungeon. So I'm very happy that this team is so good in the gold dungeon. Like I said, I could pack more DPS, which will give me higher gold on the left-hand side, not the knockdown bonus, but on the other side of things where you actually get damage for how much damage you actually do to the boss. So if I can get that number up, eventually I could probably get to the 200k mark, which I think is going to be about average for most players. They're going to be right around that 200k mark if they're doing it on auto. Now, I think even doing this on manual, you can only get like 6 to 8 knockdowns total. I think that's the maximum amount of knockdowns. I'm not sure. I'd have to do some math here because I think it's 12 turns total. But that's besides the point. So having 5 knockdowns on auto actually is a really good thing. Now, I could probably take out Stealth Elf for Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter will bring in that extra damage. But what I plan to do is take out Stealth Elf for Tide Pool. And I think that's actually going to get me right where I want to be, which is right around that 200,000 mark. Because I think Tide Pool is going to take Stealth Elf's place perfectly. Because Stealth Elf has the 3 endurance down, but so does Tide Pool. And Tide Pool brings so much raw DPS to the table that Stealth Elf doesn't actually bring. Yes, she brings the poison, but she's not bringing like that raw DPS damage that Tide Pool is going to bring to this team. So that's why I'm kind of rushing to build Tide Pool at this point, because she's going to fit into my Gold Dungeon team. She's going to fit into my PvP team, my Sky Tower team, probably any new content that comes in the future. She can basically one-shot a Barbella, a Gear Shift. If they don't evade her, she can literally just take them out in one shot. And to me, that's how I like to do things. I don't want to be bothered with a 45-minute PvP match. I want to just go in there with my Flare Wolf, my Tide Pool, even my Super Shot Stealth Elf, and just knock them down one by one and be done with it within a minute or 2 minutes. Because you guys know, as a lazy gamer, you You definitely don't want to be sitting there for half an hour, 45 minutes, trying to fight these high evasion rate teams, high resistant teams, and it just keeps resisting and evading your attacks, and then it turns into like a 30-minute battle, which I don't want to deal with. I know you guys don't want to deal with it neither. So there we only got a basic reward. I'm not sure what happened. Did we not get any knockdowns on auto? Because we got 120k here, which is more than we ever get, but we didn't get a knockdown bonus. I'm not really sure what happened there. I'll watch back in editing. But you guys get the drift here. You want to go for that knockdown bonus. I definitely think we knocked her down. There's no way we didn't. Maybe that was some type of glitch or something. I'm not really sure. I don't want to talk about it too much, but this video definitely gets the point across on what you're looking for when you're farming the gold dungeon. Thank you guys so much for the continued support here on YouTube. We are growing so fast. We're so close to 2.5k subs. We can do it. Sub to the channel, like, and comment, and we will start another sub celebration giveaway. If you guys want to join me on Twitch and Discord, that is linked down below. We do 2 monthly giveaways on Discord, and we do random giveaways on Twitch. We have an exclusive giveaway going on for Cookie Run Kingdom. I will link that video right there. As always, I love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.